The Great American Coin Hunt is a hunt because of the following phrase. Why can't I find this? And a lot of us use the old school, which is the guidebooks, the red books, the blue books, etc., that say this is what they made in 1944. This is what they made in 1912. Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, there were millions of them. Why can't I find them? Well, there's a lot of factors that fall into that answer. And tonight, in the Morgan Dollar series, one coin is the poster child on why. Tonight, finally back after 6 months, the 1904 Philadelphia Morgan. And look at the quality. So let's go to the quality first, and then I'll get into the story of the coin, because the story is crazy. It's a great story. I love stories. Years and years ago, when it was myself or Don or the two of us together doing this, many of you might recall, Don speaking just about as fast as I do. If we're talking about uncirculated, 3 words in a row, or we're talking about uncirculated, where we pause is 2 different grades in the coin business. And it can mean a lot of money. And it's not intended ever to be misleading. So, to avoid the pause on our long run-on sentences, Don coined the phrase super slider. They look like an unk, they slide by. They are technically a AU 53 to a 55 on the Sheldon scale. They slide by as a 60, which is uncirculated. So you look at them closely, they have great detail on the high points that are traditionally the wear points, yet we know if you send them to NGC or PCGS, etc., they come back as a beautiful, about uncirculated coin. So tonight, this is what we have. The last Philadelphia Morgan. Now, the original program is the important part. In 1904, this year, we stopped making the Morgan. So we had 27 consecutive years, dating back to 1878 when it began. It wasn't brought back in 1921 until the events of the Pittman Act from Senator Key Pittman, where over 350 million Morgan dollars from the first 27 years were melted. The silver at $1 an ounce was sold to England to use to prop up their currency. The one thing that nobody really goes past in that legislation is the fact that it also required the U.S. Mint to buy more silver, U.S. domestic silver, to replace it. So basically it was a 350 million ounce buy authorization. Sell and buy, the numbers don't change. And then we have to recoin it, which is why the 21 Morgans were released when the war was over. We had silver left over while they were working out the peace dollar. So great story, and I'll get further into that as well. So when you look at mintages alone, this one is 2.7 million. So you'd say, it should be out there. Well, try finding a circulated coin that looks nice, and then take the next step, which is the beautiful super sliders or even uncirculated coins. Now, by mintage, it's number 6 out of the 27 original, plus the 8 tail feather, which is 28 original Philadelphia Morgans. So it's a small key coin. But that destruction with the Pittman Act is simple and logical and unrefuted if you just follow the very simple process. With the second chapter of mintages being on the table for us today, and that is NGC, PCGS, etc., publishing how many coins they see. Not the grades they're seeing, but they're publishing how many coins they've seen. And then you want to get into the grades after. So if you see a coin that has 3 million and you only see 400 coins, you kind of have an idea as to what's going on. If you look at the Morgan Dollar series as a whole and go from 1904 backwards 350 million coins, you end up somewhere in the middle of the 1880s. Is it a unique thought or just happenstance because numbers dictate that When you get into the middle 1880s, you start seeing populations of 200,000 coins, 100,000 coins, 400,000 coins, known to have survived and certified by the services. Where on the other hand, this coin, the last one made, the one closest to the door when you open it up to start melting coins, between NGC and PCGS combined, is 18,807. Yeah. And if you go to 03, you go to 02, you go to 01, you're seeing the same type of story straight down. Philadelphia was decimated across the board. But it's logical. It's where most of the coins were made. It's where most of the coins were stored. And again, they didn't open the vault door and say, hey, let's go to the back and pull all those bags out. 350 million means a lot of bags. 350,000 bags. And they're not going to crawl over the top. They're going to take what's at the end and just keep on going. Which is, again, why the coins that did survive are the older coins, because they were the ones furthest back. Just fun stories. But here are the numbers, right? The competition sells fine 12. So a 12 on the 70-point scale, where this is a 53-55. They're a 12 at 137. They are 169 at a 40. And at a 60, a true uncirculated coin, they're $489. Which is not bad, by the way. For an Ankh, that's a good price. So I look at the super slider category, about uncirculated, as the jumping point. Where does it lean? Does it lean closer to circulated or closer to Ankh? I mean, if Ankh was 150 and this was 99, if you could afford it, you go for the Ankh, right? But if Ankhs are 400 or 500 and circulateds, well, from our competition sell for more, it's not rocket science to say this coin, this quality is, well, a tonight-only special. Guys, if you're visiting via the web, push it through. I blew through the stop sign. So sorry, everybody, but we're almost sold out. Thank you for listening. Got to be moving on.